Okay, so I wanted to show you how you can use the free vacation savings card that I'm sending you. Now, one thing I want to clarify is that the system for this is called BookVIP Plus. However, you cannot use this credit to book on bookvip.com. So, you can't use this directly for the all inclusives. So I just want to make sure I clarify that off the bat. Um, the other thing that I want to say is don't get too excited right away because it isn't going to pay for your whole hotel. And it's also going to require probably a little bit of digging. It's not the most user friendly interface. It's not terrible, but it could be better. However, you definitely can find some savings if you're willing to look. So I got these vouchers from Book VIP because when I did the Secrets Puerto Vallarta trip, I left them a video review. So they gave me a card just like the one you should have gotten if you've given me your email. And by the way, I should have said this probably earlier, but I'm not going to use your email address for anything other than just sending you this. So I'm not going to sell it or spam you or anything like that. Okay. So here's your voucher. It's going to have this little code, which you can copy and paste, right? And then to redeem your voucher, click here. So now you're going to come to this screen and you're going to be able to put in your code. So I've already activated this, but you would just go activate and then create. Yeah, see, it's telling me the code's already registered. Then you're going to create an account. So let me just show you my account so you can kind of see what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and say for destination, I'm just going to choose Las Vegas because I live in LA and I tend to go to Las Vegas quite a bit with Clark because it's close. It's 4 hours drive. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 nights for 1 room, 2 adults. Okay, so now it's going to do this search, right? You're going to see these little things, blah, blah, blah. And the thing that you want to understand about the Book VIP Plus system is, first of all, it's not going to give you 100% off any hotel. It's only going to give you up to a certain amount, which you can see here, like save 65% or save 45%. Second thing, it's going to work best with big hotels in big locations because those are the hotels that are struggling to fill their rooms. So for instance, I'm going on a trip to Costa Rica in January, and this system wasn't that useful for hotel discounts for that because it's all tiny little places off the beaten track. The other thing that I would say is that it's really good to try to look at off times, like off season for whatever place you're looking at. But okay, so the way that it's automatically going to sort is biggest money savings. I personally like to do biggest percent savings because sometimes it'll show me really ridiculous hotels that are 2,000 a night and there's just no way, right, that I'm going to save that or that I'm going to stay there. Okay. So here you're going to see what's the public price, what's how much of your crash credits is it going to take, and that's going to be based off, the number of nights and what this number is, the percentage off. You can stay as little as 1 night or up to as many as whatever the hotel has said is the max. So a lot of times, some of these hotels, the max is 21 days, but it just kind of depends on the hotel. Then you're going to see what people have been giving this in terms of ratings, and then how far it is away from whatever I searched by, which is I just put Las Vegas. Okay, so let's say I want to do the 4 nights in Harrah's. I'm going to pay $22 a night for these dates. And then if I hit select room, I can see what the room would be. I can look at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort here for $26 a night, the Palazzo for $83 a night, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, and then you're going to see the total here because we put in 4 nights. So you can see what the total would be with tax. So I'm going to check out the Palazzo. Now, in a place like Vegas, it may or may not matter to you. I guess it depends on the person, how far you are away from the strip. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to sort by distance in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and try Harrah's, and then I'll show you the Palazzo because I really happen to like that one. Okay, so, oh wait, was this actually 3 nights? Sorry, 3 nights, my bad, 3 nights. Okay, so let's say select room, and we'll see what kind of a room we're talking about here. And that's going to be important, right? Because if you're going with your partner, you're probably going to want a queen or a king bed and not 2 doubles or something like that. Okay. So we have a guest room with 1 queen bed. If it just says guest room, it's probably going to be like if you click in the details, it'll say, well, this is the best rate. We can't, it'll sleep the number of guests being requested, but there's no specific bed or configuration or room type guaranteed. I personally don't love these because I don't want to end up with 2 double beds, but you know, you can make it work, right? If that's one you want. But here we're talking about such a small difference. Like we're talking about 22 a night for 1 queen bed or 23 a night for 2 queen beds. So, I mean, I definitely would, be thinking about the 2 queen beds. Also, you can see here, if you haven't been to Vegas, there's something called the High Roller. It's a really beautiful, giant Ferris wheel. And so you could pay a little bit more and get, 2 queen beds with a high roller view out your window, 1 king bed with a high roller view. City views going to be more just looking out into the city. And then you can see it kind of gets progressively nicer to the studio. And then the suite gets really expensive. So, yeah. Anyway, so then you can just whichever one you want. So, personally, I'm going to spend a couple dollars and get the high roller view. It's $3 more. So, I'm not going to actually book this, but I'm just going to show you what you're going to see. Okay. So it's going to show you your check-in time, your checkout time. You can put in any special requests. One thing that's really important is to look at the cancellation policy because it's so discounted on the site, it's not going to be as generous as, a hotel.com or a booking.com. So you want to make sure you see. So the first 2 days, basically, you can cancel without a fee. But, the next month or so, or 3 weeks after that, that's $8 to cancel-ish, then 28. And then I guess you have 1 day where it's 28, and then it goes up to 56. So, and then no refunds are given for no-shows, early checkouts, or unused nights. So, this is not a good way to book if you are not 100% sure you're going to do the trip. If you know you're going to do it and you know your dates, then you're probably fine. Put in your special request. It's my anniversary, blah, 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 right? I have not used this coverage before, to be honest. I guess you could look at the plan details under the disclosures. I don't really know much about it, so I'm not really recommending it or not recommending it. I just don't really know. So I'm just going to say, no, I don't want coverage. Make sure it says the name of the person you want, like if I'm going to do it. And by the way, with the hotel credit, you have 7 days to activate it. There's no cost to activate it. Once it's activated, you won't lose the credit. However, once it's activated in your name, you have to be one of the people going on the trip. You can't give it to somebody else. Okay, and then you're just going to put in your payment information if you decide you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go back here because I don't want to do this right now. And I'm just going to give you another example here really quickly. Okay. Hold on. Actually, I'll just go back here. That'll be easier. Okay, so let me just show you the Palazzo. Oh, and in all these, you can compare the public prices. But here's what I'm going to say. Sometimes you can still find cheaper than these. So I always look at Booking or kayak.com to see if I'm actually getting a deal. So let me do this as an example. Let's say I know I want to go to Harrah's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Kayak and just double check, because sometimes things look like a deal and they just are not, right? You know, you can find the same price online. So I'm going to go ahead and go, let's say Las Vegas. And then let me just use the exact same dates so we can compare, which we did the 18th through the 21st. And we're doing no children. We're just doing 2 adults. Okay. And then I'm specifically curious about Harrah's. So I could have searched for that. I didn't, but let me see here if I can find it. There's an ad for Harrah's saying 35. I don't see the actual, oh, here we go. Let me do this. That's weird. I don't know why it's not showing it to me. Let me try one more time. Oh, here we go. Okay, so as you can see, you can book Harrah's for $23 online if you go through Kayak. So there's no reason you couldn't go through BookVIP, but the truth is, if you go through Kayak or Booking.com, you're probably going to get free cancellation. So this is an example of a time I wouldn't get the deal through BookVIP Plus, because it's really not that much of a savings. And if I buy it somewhere else, I can probably get free cancellation. So this is an example of, yeah, you could book it this way and that's totally fine, right? But, and you could compare, maybe you wouldn't get as nice of a room, right? Like maybe you wouldn't get, let's see, we were looking at the high roller, right? At some point, deluxe 2-queen room. But yeah, I mean, the prices are similar, right? So this is an example of one that I would be like, I'll probably just book it online with free cancellation, right? Okay, but let's look at a different one, because I know, for example, that the Palazzo is a lot more expensive than this. So let's look there for a second. Let's do, while this is loading, let's do that same search, but with Palazzo. Same nights, so everything else should be the same. Okay, so here we go. All right, now this is a great example of when it's actually worth it, because right here they're offering you the Palazzo for $83, and they're offering you a 1-king suite, or you could get a luxury king suite for $87. You can get a nicer view. Maybe you're bringing somebody else besides your spouse and you want a sofa bed. And these are all pretty low, right? Now, if I go over here to Kayak, you can see that for these same dates, it's going to be a lot more expensive. In fact, they want to charge you $536 a night. So this would be an example of something where it would totally be worth using the credit, right? I wouldn't worry about Harrah's, because like you can find Harrah's that cheap online, but you definitely are getting a good deal with Palazzo, right? Because you're paying $83 instead of $536. So It kind of requires a little bit of digging and research, which, is kind of my forte. It's sort of like my adult version of thrift store shopping, is kind of like looking and checking and comparing. But also, just to show you, the other thing I tend to look at a lot is rating high to low. So most of the things that are rated really high might be out of my price range, but sometimes they're not. Like you can see the Palazzo is actually the top one, and that's one of the ones that was really affordable. But some of these other ones I could see what they are, even if they have less of a savings through the cash credit, I do like to see the highly rated ones and what's available. Now, the other thing is that, maybe you're somebody who really wants to be as close to the strip as possible. So then you can search by the strip in particular and sort by distance. And that's going to be a really useful way to see what's close to the strip. Because, sometimes something says, oh, it's only a few miles, but in Las Vegas traffic, it could be 20 minutes, right? So all of these guys are going to be on the strip: Bally's, Cromwell, Caesars, Flamingo, Nobu, Paris, etc., etc. Planet Hollywood, Cosmo, all of these guys. So you could sort by that. And that's how you use it. In terms of cars, activities, transport, and lounges, these are things that are all just offered to you, but at travel agent prices. So I have not yet booked through these, but supposedly it's supposed to be the lowest available prices. As always, I would do a Google search and make sure, actually check. Because if it's the same price as what's online and online has free cancellation, then use something else. Activities. So let's look, for example, I guess we'd look at Orlando. These are, again, going to be different activities you can do at travel agent prices instead of what you would normally find. So, and you can click any of them to read more. So, okay, I'm not quite as familiar with this one because I haven't used the activity side yet, but let's just click on one and look. So this is not one where you're going to be able to use credit, but you should be able to get a really good price as opposed to what you would find online for that. And then you can also look at the reviews down here. Okay, and then same for transport and lounges. It's not that you're going to be able to use this cash credit balance towards them, but you can still use the system to get the pricing of a travel agent. So let's see what Orlando is. Okay, and so you can start to see, different transportation options, like if you need a private airport transfer, a shuttle to a cruise station, things like that. Looks like there's some day trips sprinkled in here too. So feel free to look through these, and as always, compare to what you can find it for online. Make sure it's actually a deal before you book it, and that's how that works. So now the last thing that I'll tell you is there is this thing that says upgrade membership. I personally have not done this, where you can subscribe to get cheaper deals than what you're seeing. You're welcome to do that. I have not done that. But what I will say is if you want to see what it would do, if you go back here and you click redeem again, and it takes you to redeem.bookvipplus.com, you'll see there's this little thing here that says take a test drive. And this is going to show you what you would get if you were paying that $19.99 a month. So I'm not actually booking, I'm just taking a test drive. And just for the point of comparison, let's just choose the same days, which I already forgot what I put. What was it? Let me go back. I think it was, I think I'll just have to do my best to guess because I think it was like the 8, like maybe here, 3 nights. Okay, let's try that. I wonder if I put in different dates because this seems higher than it was. That's possible. But anyway, now I'm really wondering here what days I put in. Hold on, I'm just checking. The 18th through the 21st. Huh. That's weird. Oh, I know why it's not. I was like, why is this higher? But it's because I'm doing the test drive and I don't have as big of a cash balance, so not as much was taken away. That's why. Okay. But you could, if do you see this like little dark bar on the side? This is what you would save if you were paying the $19.99 a month. And it's really only for a couple hotels. Like the Palazzo is the only one that I see here for these dates that has it. Let me check by percentage savings and see if there's any other ones. So yeah, I don't know. It hasn't been that many hotels and it hasn't been that big of a savings. So I personally have not subscribed to this membership. I just ignore it. But if you want to, you certainly can. So I hope that was helpful. Oh, and let me reiterate, I don't get any money if you book or if you don't book. It's literally there's no kickback, there's no connection. So don't feel like, oh, if I don't use the certificate, Karen's going to be hurt. Like, I don't know if you use them. I don't have a way to know. And I, don't care. Like, if you don't use it, that's totally fine. If you do use it, that's totally fine. It's really just an incentive that I can give to people like myself who are excited about travel. And it benefits these hotels, especially these ones with a ton of rooms, because if you're in their rooms, they're still getting some money and you're probably paying money at their restaurants, maybe at their casinos. So it kind of is a win-win because they're filling their rooms. So that's why they're kind of, working with the site basically. But please don't feel like you have to spend anything. It literally has zero impact on my life. No matter what you decide, it's just something that you can use to find some cool travel deals. And, like I demonstrated, just do that exact process where you're comparing what they're offering you to what you could get on either kayak.com or booking.com. And, I would say maybe 1 out of 10 of these is a really good deal, like Palazzo is. And then the rest will be like kind of a good deal or the same price as you could find if you did some digging. So that's why I would say, just pay attention. And then if you find yourself needing more cash credits, hit me up. I think I may be able to send some of you more. And I may be able to do some little, giveaways in the group or something. So I'm still kind of experimenting with the system. But anyway, that's how you use it. It's a little bit of work, but when you find something that's a good deal, it can be totally worth it. So anyway, I know this is kind of a long video, but hopefully this helps, and I hope you have a great day.